Preston back here with the Hidden Gibbon, and today I've got another classic commander deck for you. This is another one that I used to have built back in the day. I've kind of updated it to modern standards. It's going to be bracket 3, and we're going to be talking about the little known High Arcanist. Let's get straight into it. So, he is expensive, right? But that was the norm back in the day. A lot of commanders were extremely expensive. I think even before they were called commanders, I think we called them generals at one point in time, back in the old EDH days. But I made a deck with High Arcanist and Maze of Ith effects. I think I was running Rasputin Dreamweaver in here for some reason. But it was a blue-white control deck. And nothing different here about him. So he's a 3/5 for 5 colorless, 1 white, 1 blue. A whole bunch of mana. He has Vigilance, and you can tap to untap target creature, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by that creature this turn. So he's got a Maze of Ith effect on there. So this is the guy who made the maze. And he has Suspend 4 for 1 white, 1 blue. So you could suspend him right off the bat rather than having to wait until you have 7 mana. This is going to be a control deck where we're trying to stop our opponents from being able to attack while we slowly just chip away. So our creatures for today, we have 26. We're running Absolute Virtue. Spell can't be countered, and it gives you protection from each of your opponents, and it has flying. It's an 8/8. So it could beat, or it could eat a Swords to Plowshares. Who knows? Apeto Alchemist. It has tap, untap, target artifact or creature, sorry. You're going to see a lot of creatures and a lot of effects in here to untap things, and that's so we can use our Ith more than once if we need to. We have Archangel of Tithes, which makes it so as long as it's untapped, creatures can't attack me or planeswalkers you control, unless their controller pays 1 for each of those. And as long as Archangel of Tithes is attacking, creatures can't block unless they pay 1. Then we have Archon of Absolution, which makes it so creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless its controller pays 1. Same with Baird, same effect as the Archon. We have Azorius Guildmage, lets you tap target creature or counter target activated ability. Azor's Elocutors here is our win condition. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a filibuster counter on Azor's Elocutors. If Azor's Elocutors has 5 or more filibuster counters on it, you win the game. And whenever a source deals damage to you, remove a filibuster counter from Azor's Elocutors. So the goal here is to not let people attack you and then filibuster them out of the game. We have Drum Bellower, which is flying and untap all creatures you control during each other player's untap step, so that way you can get more work out of your Maze of Ith effects, or your Ith, I should say. Fate Stitcher, you may tap or untap another target permanent. Esper Sentinel to get you some card advantage. Fog Bank, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to this creature, or dealt to and by this creature. Godhead of Awe, a great card from Shadowmoor. Used to be a classic commander card. Other creatures are 1/1s. Pretty simple. We have Guafa. My buddy John used to have a Guafa deck, or he might even still have a Guafa deck. You tap Azorius and tap him to put a bribery counter on a target creature you don't control. Its controller draws a card. Creatures with bribery counters can't attack or block. Then we have Yorith of the Healing House. You can tap it to untap another target permanent, or tap it to untap 2 other target legendary creatures. So like your Ith and your Guafa could get untapped. We have Kelpie Guide, Deadly Water Horse here. Untap target permanent you control, so both your Ith or your Maze of Ith. We have Magus of the Moat, making it so flying or only flying can attack. Mangara the Diplomat makes people pay for attacking again. Nils, Discipline Enforcer. At the beginning of your end step, for each player, put a 1/1 counter on it, up to 1 Target creature that player controls. Each creature with one or more 1/1 counters on it can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless its controller pays X, where X is the number of counters. So, like, this is really good against my friend Mitch, who plays Kresh. You know, he gets 1,000,000 counters on his creature, and then look at that. Can't attack me unless he can pay all that mana, and he can't. Samite Archer, with its very strange art. You can tap, prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. Don't worry about that. And then you can also tap to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. You can do little ping effects. Silent Arbiter, so no more than 1 creature can attack or block. This is another classic commander card. I actually really love the art on this card. He was originally from Mirrodin. I hope he was one of the things that survived New Phyrexia. Socrates, you know, we got a historical figure in here. He's got Defender, and Socrates has hexproof as long as he's untapped. And until end of turn, target creature gains. If this creature would deal combat damage to a player, prevent that damage. It's the creature's controller and that player each draw half that many cards rounded down. So if somebody does attack you, you can make it so you draw cards instead. Then there's the Council of Four. Whenever a player draws their second card, during each of their turns, you draw a card. And whenever a player casts their second spell during each of their turns, you get a 2/2 knight. Unctus. Whenever blue creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes tapped, loot, draw and discard, which is pretty good. And you can make your other stuff become a blue artifact until end of turn. Vizier of the Tumbling Sands, untap target permanent. You're seeing the theme here. Wall of Denial is a classic Alara card, I believe, of Bant. Yep. It has Shroud, it's a flying, and it's a 0/8. It's a big blocker. That's what it does. It flies, and it's a big blocker. Windborn Muse, it's a Ghostly Prison effect. Then we have Approach the Second Sun, our other win condition in the deck, besides, maybe being able to ping and do some creature stuff. We have Chromatic Escape. So until your next turn, creatures can't attack you. Remove it from the game with 3 time counters on it. You can either cast it for 6, or you can suspend it for 3. Day of Judgment, Doomscar, Farewell, and Supreme Verdict all serve as your mass removal. For instance, we have Aether Spouts. For each attacking creature, its owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library. So if somebody's trying to attack you a whole bunch, you can delay them, make them have to repay it. Or if they're swarming you with tokens, then, it's essentially a Wrath of God. Condemn, a classic commander card. Of course, you can't really do this to people's commanders anymore. You used to be able to condemn them to the bottom and then tunnel vision them. But instead, this will work for a lot of different things. Then we have Dawn Charm, which is a fog effect. We have Dramatic Reversal, so you can untap all your permanents. You have Holy Day to prevent all combat damage that would be done. 2 Arms, untap all creatures, draw a card. Path, Swords, and then we have Sphinx's Revelation to gain some life and draw some cards. For artifacts, we are running 5. We have Crawl Space. No more than 2 creatures can attack you each combat. We have Halo Fountain, which lets you tap. The main effect that you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing the 2 white, tap it, untap 2 tapped creatures you control, draw a card, or tap 1, tap it, untap a tapped creature you control, create a 1/1 green and white citizen token. So it can make some blockers and untap your Ith. Isokron Scepter, so that way you can put those instants on there that fog and do other silly things onto the Scepter. Norn's Annex makes people pay life or white mana to try to attack you. And Unbender Time, another Alara card, lets you untap another target permanent. For enchantments, we have Blind Obedience, so people's stuff comes into play tapped. We have Court of Antris to copy our enchantments. We have Extravagant Replication, same thing, copying our enchantments. We have Free from the Real, so you can enchant a creature, tap a blue to tap it or untap it. Frozen Aether. I loved this card back in the Planar Chaos days. Artifacts, creatures, and lands your opponents control come into play tapped. Ghostly Prison. and Propaganda. We all know what those do. We have Imprisoned in the Moon, one of my personal favorite cards. This card is very, very strong in 1v1 Brawl on Arena, but it turns somebody's creature, land, or planeswalker into a colorless land. Mana Maze, players can't play spells that share a color with spells that last played this turn. Pretty interesting. We have my moat in here, so I can take my moat out of another deck if I want to build this and put it right on in here. We have Reconnaissance, which lets you do silly things to untap or move things from combat. Rhystic Study to draw a Smothering Tithe to get some treasures. Sphere of Safety, so that to help you protect yourself some more. And Teferi's Moat. Creatures of the chosen color without flying can't attack you. There he is, holding off the old Phyrexian hordes. And then for lands, we have 38. I'm going to go over the standout ones here. We have Glacial Chasm, which is Game Changer, upkeep of 2 life, or, cumulative upkeep of 2 life. You cannot attack, and all damage dealt to you is reduced to 0. Echoing Deeps. It can enter as a copy of a land that's in the graveyard. So if you lose one of these lands, you can copy it. But we have Labyrinth of Scophos, so that way you can... it's a Maze of Ith effect. We have Maze of Ith, we have Mystifying Maze, and we have Prov, Spires of Order. All of these are Maze effects. And then for just some flavor, we have Nimbus Maze in here, although it does not untap creatures. We have Minimo, which lets you untap target legendary permanent. Thespian Stage and Vesuva to copy our Maze abilities. But yeah, overall, I loved this deck back in the day, just sitting there, not letting people attack. I have always been predominantly a control player. You can probably get that from a lot of my deck techs. I need to probably do some more into aggro and combo. But Ith overall, yeah, he's a slow commander, but he can be fun. This is just like a little bit more niche version of like my Quain or my Grand Arbiter Augustine deck. But let me know what you think. What are some of the classic commanders that you had back in the day that you would love to rebuild, even though they might not be the most efficient creatures in the world, and now that everything is practically like a 7/7 for 2? But let me know. Thank you all for watching, and have a great day.